Gentleman yields. Chair recognizes Mr. Min from California.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to take a moment just to note that once again this committee is failing to do its job and actually exercise oversight in the way it should. My phones are ringing off the hook with people who are angry as hell about what they see as the rampant corruption of this administration, the illegal activities of Elon Musk and Doge, and the massive cuts to Medicaid that Republicans voted for last week. Literally not one person has called to ask about the immigration enforcement priorities of the cities I represent, let alone Boston or Chicago. This hearing is an attempt to distract from the actual waste, fraud, corruption, and abuse that is happening at unprecedented levels in this country right now. So thank you to the witnesses. I want to start off with a few simple yes-no questions for you all. First, please raise your hand for the mayors if you are aware of any laws or policies that prevent federal authorities from enforcing immigration in your city. Okay, no hands are raised. Please raise your hand if you're aware of any cities or states in America that have laws or policies that prevent federal authorities from enforcing immigration law. Any cities or states. Okay, I just want to know for the record again, there are no hands up. And as your answers make clear, this whole sanctuary city, quote-unquote, debate is a sham. There's no place in America, not one, that actually provides sanctuary from federal law, period. The real issue here is whether state and local governments should spend scarce taxpayer dollars to help the federal government enforce its immigration priorities. Whether local police should spend their time focused on their actual jobs, keeping our streets safe, apprehending violent criminals, solving crimes, or whether they should be deputized to help enforce federal immigration laws. And a lot of cities and states, including my state of California, have made the very reasonable decision to say, hey, we want our teachers, nurses, doctors, cops, firefighters to focus on their actual jobs and not be dragged into this Republican war on immigrants. And let's be clear, the Republican immigration policies being pushed forward right now are counterproductive and will make us far less safe, something several of our mayors pointed out in their testimony. Look, I support a 100% ban on all illegal border crossings, but the reality is we already have over 10 million people here in this country without proper immigration status, many of whom have been here for decades. And if you have ICE agents patrolling our courthouses, police stations, and hospitals, that means that those undocumented immigrants are not going to go anywhere, but they are going to stop reporting crimes or seeking medical care, and this makes us all less safe from the rapists and murderers out there. Now, recently, my Orange County Sheriff, Don Barnes, a staunch conservative, issued a statement outlining his position on immigration enforcement. And here's what he stated. The Orange County Sheriff's Department does not enforce federal immigration law. It is not part of our primary mission, and we remain focused on violations of state and local laws. The department will provide for your safety and respond to your calls for service regardless of your immigration status. We do not and never will ask the immigration status of victims, witnesses, suspects, or those who call to report crimes. We enforce state and local laws equally without bias and without concern for your citizenship. Now, I actually think this is a pretty good summary of what each of you are describing happens in your cities, a situation where the federal government enforces immigration law while states and local authorities enforce state and local laws, and it makes a lot of sense. I don't know what my colleagues on the other side think, but I don't want my police focused on immigration status and asking people about that. I want them focused on preventing violent crimes. But with that, I want to shift gears to address Mayor Eric Adams. Mayor, as has been well discussed in this committee, you are the first sitting mayor in modern New York City history to be indicted while in office. Last year, of course, you were charged with numerous felony counts for soliciting and accepting bribes for nearly a decade from foreign nationals, businessmen, and others, including illegal campaign contributions and luxury travel. On February 10th of this year, the Trump Justice Department instructed federal prosecutors to drop charges against you. This decision caused 7 federal prosecutors, including a Trump appointee, to resign because they believed this was such an enormous miscarriage of the rule of law in law enforcement. Now, as some of my colleagues have pointed out, this was widely reported as a quid pro quo. I know you've denied that. I know you're probably limited in what you can say. But a lot of people out there, including a lot of people in New York City that I know, believe that these charges were dropped in exchange for a quid pro quo for your agreement to help the Trump administration enforce its immigration policies. So my question for you, Mayor Adams, is actually a very simple one. It's clear that whatever your intentions, whatever actions you take, whether on immigration or anything else, you do not enjoy the trust and confidence of the people of New York City. So my question is, why haven't you not resigned yet, and do you plan to resign today or anytime soon?
I'm really surprised after you laid out your strong belief in the country
It's
and
a
what
yes,
we
no
stand
question.
for,
Are you-
and what we stand for, that
Why
you are
haven't you
acting
resigned
to
yet,
take
Mayor
away
Adams?
the power
Why have you
of
not
the
resigned
people.
yet?
The
It's
people
not
of
a
the
question that
city
gets to your
elected
lawyers.
me to be
Why
the
have you
mayor,
not resigned yet?
and you
Please answer
should
the
not be a
question.
hypocrite and ask the people of the city power to be reserved for them.
Why have you not
I
resigned
was
yet? And
elected
do
by
you
the people of the
intend to
city,
resign anytime
and you
soon,
don't
Mayor?
live in the
Gentleman's
city.
time's expired. Gentleman's time's expired. Chair